Hi everyone, welcome to another Stretch Flow with Flo. Today we are getting into a 15-minute Loosey Goosey flow because we love to feel loose and glow. Starting off today with the classic forward fold. We are keeping our feet or our stance narrow, just hinging at the hips and going down as far as you can, without pulling or trying to pull anything more than you're able to. Next, we are going to go ahead and widen our feet stance to being at hip distance. Don't let me rush you though. If that regular forward fold feels nice, please go ahead and enjoy that. But while we are at hip distance, we are just going to go ahead and just keep bending into that stretch. We are going to grab the opposite elbows with the opposite hands and just hang out here. Feel it out in your lower back. Give it a little side to side sway. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. You want to go ahead and release your neck all together while you're hanging here. Just let it all hang free. Give it a little side to side sway with your elbows. I don't think I could ever reiterate enough how much I want you guys to fill out your stretches. Sway from side to side as long as you need to. Shake your head yes and nod your head no as long as you need to. Now, when you are ready, we're going to go ahead and release that and walk into the downward dog position by just walking your hands forward first and stepping your feet back as far as you need to so that you still kind of feel the stretch in your hamstrings. Definitely fill this portion out as well. And we are going to go ahead and start bending our legs at our knees. And we're going to go ahead and start pedaling one heel down at a time to open up our calves. Take your time, give each side about 10 pedals. Deepen the pedals when you are ready, which as in going ahead and pressing down more into your heels. And we are going to come to stillness, placing our heels as together down on the ground as far as we can, and dropping into our all fours. And we are going to go into a good old cat-cow. So you want to start by inhaling into the cow position, taking in a deep breath and letting your belly hang low, your back arch downward or get a U-shaped into your back. And then with an exhale, we are going to bring in our navel, expand our shoulder blades, bringing that stretch or that arch all the way into the high part of your back. And we're going to give these about at least 5 to 6. Take more if you need it. Making sure you're inhaling and exhaling with your movements. That way your muscles have the oxygen they need to release. The next stretch we are going to do targets our groin and our hips and hamstrings. So you're going to stick your leg out to the side and try to line it up with your hand if possible. If not, knee to foot alignment is okay. And we are going to stay in this all four position, but instead being on all three. And to feel this stretch, we're actually just going to kind of lean backwards into a child's pose, but not going necessarily all the way down. We're going to kind of use a pulsating, not even a pulsating motion. You're just going to slowly go down, touch your heel to your butt of that leg that's still bent underneath you, and just repeat that, making sure you're breathing, inhaling to come up, exhaling to go down. And then we're going to sit upright, bring both hands up to the ceiling, and we're going to get into our side body. So first, we're going to take that same arm that's sticking out with the leg over to that side, and you're going to take your opposite arm and lean all the way over to that side, keeping your shoulders in line with your hips, but just leaning over to the side. And come back up to center and take that other opposite arm and do a nice long elongated side stretch over to the opposite side. Take a moment to look at me if you need to, because I probably didn't explain that well enough. And if you like, you can go from side to side a couple times, taking it very slow, inhaling when you are in that extended position, and exhaling to transition. Now we are going to go ahead and switch legs. Stick that opposite leg out. I am on my left leg, sticking that out just to help better direct you all. And we are just going to go ahead and bring our buttocks down to our heel and bring it back up, just like we did on the other side. Take a few moments to fill out this stretch. Take it slow. Sit down there if you need to. I'm never here to stop you. I only want you to be great. And on this side, I'm a little tighter, so I am going to go ahead and revel in this stretch a little more. Now, moving on to sitting upright, bringing both hands up to reach the ceiling, and taking that left arm down to that extended left leg, and bringing your right arm over to do a good side stretch and feel that on the right side body. And when you are ready, you move it over to the opposite side so that you can feel it on the left side. And then you take it back and forth from side to side, making sure you're inhaling and exhaling with your movements. This is actually one of my favorite ways to stretch my side bodies and my hips and my groin. It just opens me up so well, and I hope it does the same for you. Now we're going to go ahead and sit back into a classic child's pose, which is bringing both knees up under you, extending your arms out in front of you, and bringing your hips back to sit on your heels. And we're just going to take a few breaths here. Let's take about 5 breaths here. Inhale and exhale, feeling it coming into your shoulders and down your spine, into your hips. This is also a good position to fill out your lats by placing your hands on your fingertips and just kind of moving your shoulder blades in circles. We are going to touch that really quick. And then we are going to start walking our hands out to the opposite side, keeping your hips square to the mat. So you don't want to be lifting or turning your hips. Everything's flat and parallel to the mat. This is another side body and lower back stretch, actually. After you take a few breaths here, we're going to go ahead and cross back through center and lean over the other side. Like I said, on the other side, you want to make sure your shoulders, your hips are parallel to the floor and sitting over your thigh, basically. If you have room for that, if you don't have the room for that, don't force it. Just let it be where it feels good. And then you're going to walk back to center and relax in that child's pose again momentarily. And now we are going to go ahead and come up out of this child's pose, going onto all fours. We are going to lay down on our stomach from there, and we are going to go into some more back stretches since we have loosened our back up some. And it's really just going to be a good old upward facing dog. In order to do this correctly, you align your hands up at your chest and just press straight up from your elbows. And we're going to do that a couple times just to get used to the feeling of it if you aren't already. It's a lovely stretch for your abs if those are sore. And then you're going to raise your hips and come back down into that child pose position. And we are going to go back and forth from child's pose to upward facing dog. Exhale for child pose. Inhale for upward facing dog. Hit that child's pose again. And then one last time for that upward facing dog. And then we actually are going to sit on our bottoms. Time to stretch out our legs and back. So go ahead and do a forward fold, hinging at your hips once again, reaching for either your shins or the soles of your feet, depending on where you are in your flexibility. And just take a few deep breaths here. And we are going to raise up and do one of my favorite stretches for opening our lower back. You're going to stack your legs on top of each other or do a half or semi-Indian style fold of your legs and bring it around town. One of my other favorite stretches. I swear every stretch is my favorite stretch if you ask me. I just love feeling loosey goosey. That's all. So when you are bringing it around town though, make sure you're hitting both sides. Make sure you're treating it like a baseball diamond and you are giving extension to every point from side to middle to side and back up. And now we are going to go ahead and do a forward fold in this position, which you're just walking your hands out as far as you can. Bringing it back up. We're getting into some more side body stretches. Bringing both hands up. Lean one hand down, let's say the right hand down. And over to the side. And bringing the opposite arm up and over, making sure your shoulders stay straight in that stretch. When you are ready, we are going to switch our legs and repeat. Be sure to bring it around town in both directions, doing it at least 3 times in each direction. And we are going to go ahead and hit another forward fold. For this different leg fold, you will feel the stretch in your quads and your hamstrings, honestly, and your lower back. It's just lovely. And we're going to bring ourselves up. Extend both legs out in front of you, and we are going to bring our right leg in, or our right foot to our right or left thigh, inner thigh, and you're going to face your hips towards that knee that's pointing out. And this is another lovely side stretch. So you're going to raise your right arm and lean over the left leg, keeping your shoulders open. Take a peek at me if you need to make sure you're doing it correctly. And then we're going to do a little advanced move, which is bringing up our hips using our right hand for support, just to get another back stretch in. There's just so many great dynamic stretches you can do to touch so many different parts of the body. And I'm just addicted to all of them. And we're going to go ahead and switch sides. So bring that left foot into that right inner thigh. Raise up your hands, bringing your left arm up and over, like basically keeping it attached to your ear as you lean over down towards that right leg. And do another dynamic movement, which is bringing your left arm back for support and bringing your hips forward out of that position. And I love, of course, to do that a couple times as well. Some stretches, I just feel like you don't really feel the full effect unless you do it at least 4 times. Moving on, we are going to lay down on our backs and do kind of like a tuck and roll motion, bringing your knees into your chest and literally just making sure your hips and body and shoulders are square to the mat, and just do a rolling motion back and forth. I get a lot of cracks out of my back doing that. And I moved on pretty quickly. Sorry about that. But now I am doing a figure 4 stretch, which touches your hamstrings and your calf, depending on where you hold. I like to hold at my thigh first, and then after I feel like I've opened up a little bit by rocking side to side, I start holding at the calf instead, just to get deeper into that stretch. Now we are going to go ahead and switch sides. So take that right leg and put it over the left knee, and take your both hands and clasp them around that right or left thigh. And you're going to rock back and forth a little bit from side to side. And if you have the flexibility, clasp at the calf or the shin. Moving on from here, we are going to go into a simple twist, bringing your left leg or your knee into your chest, that left shoulder, making sure it stays square to the ground, and bringing that left leg over to the opposite right side. Comfortably, do not stress yourself. Your goal is to let that left hip kind of point towards the bottom of the mat, towards your feet, to do this safely. And when you are ready to switch, you want to bring both knees into your chest to reset your hips. Keep your right knee into your chest, lower your left leg. Keep your right shoulders, both shoulders, really square to the mat while you bring your right leg over to the left side. Once you feel like you've gotten everything you've needed out of that twist, we're going to go ahead and get up, and I like to do it into a forward fold. Be sure to leave a micro bend in your knees, and as you're rising, do it one vertebrae at a time, making sure your head is the last to surface.